My spirit name is Pretty Rock Woman, and I'm from Fort William First Nation. I live here in Thunder Bay, Ontario, and so one of the really nice responsible gambling program here. And yeah, so I'm to just bring that out. You can join me, and if not, that's okay. I will be doing this as a virtual smudge and lodge for us today. Out, out, sitting with our medicine, just so grounding. Sitting with our medicine, just so grounding. Um, um, so I was like, I don't know what I'm going to share today. A little bit of nerves. So I was like, I don't know what I'm going to share today. A little bit of nerves. It's been a little bit since I've been on. It's been a little bit since I've been on a live stream. But just bringing our medicine. But just bringing our medicines out, sitting with it for a minute, helped ground us, and sitting with it for a minute helped ground us, and makes me feel, even just smelling right now, I can smell it. I'm gonna put a little bit more. Makes me feel, even just smelling right now, I can smell it. I'm gonna put a little bit more, light it a little bit more. And I just thank everyone for joining in, tuning in today. And if you I know this is going to be live stream, so it is going to be available even after. And for those that are going to join later and watch, just thank you for taking the time to join and listen in on some important conversations and important information that we're going to share today. Yeah. So before too, I have my, I hope everyone was able to smudge and just have the medicine. I'm gonna do a song too, and that also helps ground me. I always like to start my events in a way, in that good way. And I'm gonna share a song with you guys, and it's also, um, just something that I'm proud of myself to be able to, pick up my grandmother drum. Um, and share that. It helps find my voice. I find I'm more confident in that way, and then when I'm speaking, I'm like, oh, I wish I can feel that confidence still. But I'm gonna share a song before we begin. As my much is still lighting. Oh, Everyone that's tuning in, I know those that registered was able to get some kids out to you guys, and I'll lead that here in a minute. But before I begin with that, I just want to share a little bit about today and about the month of March. So The month of March is Problem Gambling Awareness Month. And again, much out, but just something enough for everyone to think about when it comes to gambling and gaming, and just how to live healthy lifestyles, and just, yeah, supporting our wellness. Um, the theme of this month was connecting our spirit to stories and knowledge sharing. Um, Again, just really trying to promote prevention services, resources that we can access. Um, yeah, so now that I opened, I am gonna probably move this over a little bit, and then I'm gonna, in a few minutes here, I'll introduce Scott. But before I begin, what I sent out to those that registered beading supplies. There is going to be a supply list of what you'll need. Um, just looking for moving everything around. Over here, there it is. Okay, so if for those that have it, so I really, every time we do a talk or sharing information, I really love to have something that people can kind of engage in or use their hands. And I know even when I go and sit and listen to information that's shared, I often bring something that I can fidget with, move my hands with. So if you do not have any beading supplies with you at the moment, even if you have something like a stress reliever, so I have one of my online dice stress relievers nearby. You can use something with your hands. I encourage you guys to do that. Or I have my rock here, something that you can hold on to. I know that's just something that's helpful for me, especially when I'm trying to sit and listen to information. And there's going to be a lot of great information that Scott's going to share here in a little bit. But before we go into the talk, you'll have your beading supply. So I opened up my kit already, and I kind of started a little bit. So with the kit that I sent out, that that we need. So in the kit, you had a pellet back. There's beading thread, beading needles, light blue, or there's blue beads, and you'll also see in the kit too. Everyone had different colors because I kind of threw in a kind of a color. Some may have black. There might be gold, white. There's all different colors, and those are kind of so the light blue would be your majority of what you're going to be beading with. But I wanted to throw different colors in because everyone's creative and every pin is going to look different. There's no right or wrong way to make your pin. But even for edging purposes, if you want to make it, have it pop and stand out. So eventually here I'll show you one of the ones that I created and finished. But I was able to use the gold for edging. So if you have white, you can use white for edging. Yeah, so you'll see your beads. Got your thread, your needles, you'll see your pellet as your background. You will have a little beading mat. I was only able to do a little size just because of the kit size, but some people have bigger beading mats. As you can see that I have one here. And then extra things to have too, as when you're beading, is always good to have some scissors nearby. And then I have my glue for later. So that's just something that this isn't in the kit, some glue, but if you do have glue for later, that's always something helpful to have, and scissors nearby. Okay, and then I'm going to talk about there's also a card that was in each kit. So I'm going to read off what it shares here. It's Gambling Awareness Beaded Pin Activity. So Problem Gambling Awareness is a month to recognize annually every March. To raise awareness, we're encouraging our communities to create and wear a light blue ribbon pin. This pin serves as a visual representation of solidarity for those impacted by problem gambling, signaling support for individuals who are facing this challenge and encouraging open conversations about this issue. So the impact of wearing the pin. Wearing the pin is more than just an accessory. It's an effective way to, spark those conversations that are really important to have. For those who are struggling with gambling issues, it also can provide a sense of comfort and assurance that support is available. For the broader community, it can open doors for discussing the risks and signs of problem gambling, break down stigma, and promoting a culture of empathy and awareness. It's just a simple gesture that can make a profound impact. And we see these awareness pins often, and I just wanted to have something again that is just a visual reminder. And when we're working on it, we're thinking, of putting those good energy, those good thoughts, as we're beating our pin. So I'm just going to quickly lead us into the beating activity just to get everyone started. Again, I don't know who is watching, where everyone's level is for beating. So I'm just going to get you guys started. And I don't know if we'll finish the activity like with me being able to instruct it today. It's not a very big beating project. It's because I did make the pin a little bit smaller, but you may not finish it within this session, and if you do, that's awesome. But there is resources. If we do look at Anwa's YouTube page, we do have some beating resources that may not look exactly like our awareness ribbon, but we do have like a medicine wheel pin that was created that can just help if you get to those final stages and you're not sure how to finish your beating project. There is resources on our you have to thread their needle, but you're gonna pull out. I just like to do a little bit because I find if I do too much thread, it gets caught for me because I'm not like a pro beater and it gets caught. So you're just gonna do an arm length, get yourself set up. Use your scissors that are nearby. Your kits, you'll have, I put at least two needles because I know sometimes we can needles bend or depending on how. So you're going to thread it. This is always the fun part. And let's see if I could do it on. That's why I have one threaded too, just in case if no, I got it. I like to do the double thread, but I know some people also do a single thread and have it open. But for here, I'll do like the double. And then you're going to tie your knot at the end. And then you go twice. So it should look like that. No, good. I thought I put a knot. So it should look like that. So bead, however, if you're already a pro beader or have some knowledge, however you thread it. And then I usually start, so I started near the end, and then I started my outline. You're going to take your beads, dump some out, not all of it. And then, you'll pick a spot. So now for me, what I'm going to show too is, as you could see with this one, I started my one edging. I didn't put any gold in it yet. So I actually looked at it today. I was like, oh, I didn't put any of my colors in. I can always add it in after, or I can just leave it and have it be a blue. Any combo you want. For here, as you can see, I did my light blue and then I started going into a dark blue. I just thought that was cool to kind of make it look, have that shadow effect. So I might do that for this one. So you always start from the back, and then you might have to poke it a few times and just kind of feel out where it needs to go. It's going to come through. And then I like to start off, well, you guys will have it started off differently because you haven't had any beads placed on it. Just going through my last couple beads so I can have it. Okay, so you're going to pick up. I like to pick up, especially if you're a little bit. I'm not like, again, I'm not like the best beader, but I'll give myself grace. But I like to pick up 4 beads at a time. So pick up 4. I'm gonna pull it down. And I just wanted to start you guys off beading while we listen to Scott. I'm going to introduce him here in a minute. And then you're going to poke through the back. I know it's kind of hard because I have my camera. I can't really fiddle with it too much, but I'm going to poke it through. And then you're going to come up from the back, and that's how you tack it down. Come up from the back. Some people like to tack every single bead. For me, for the right now, I'm just gonna tack the 2. And I bounce around. Like I might tack in the middle 2, or I might tack in the extra one. But I'm just gonna do the middle 2 for now. And then what I'm gonna do is I like to go through all my beads that I just placed down. So I go again from the back near where I just placed down my 4 beads. Come up. And then I'm going to go through these beads again. And that kind of just makes it a little bit more, it strengthens the beads, or it keeps it more, not loose. And then it helps you start your next row of beads. So I know I'm not able to kind of interact and see if you have questions, but I hope that I'm able to explain a little bit. And I hope, then what you do is pick up 4 more beads. I'm doing dark right now, but majority of people, if you want to start off with your, again, a color edge, you will. But you're picking up your 4, and then you're bringing it down and you're laying it, holding. But I'm just, I'm really, I'm happy that, I was able to do this today. It's actually the first day of spring today. And I know here in Thunder Bay, it's a beautiful day here, and it's really sunny, but it still feels a little, it still feels a little cold. And I got to get, I'm happy spring is here. But yeah, I'm just looking outside too. It's a really nice day. I'm looking forward to getting out for a walk later, moving my body a little bit. But some of the information too, we're gonna get Scott here in a minute to talk, and I'll introduce him actually. So I'm actually really blessed that I was able to kind of get Scott here. And thank you again, Scott, for agreeing to join me. And I reached out to him probably like back in early December, before Christmas break. Scott has done a lot of work with Anwa, and I'm really grateful for him to accept and share his knowledge, share his personal experiences, and promote health and wellness. He did a lot of work with our diabetes program, and I know I see him out in the community doing a lot of great work with a lot of First Nation community organizations. He is an owner of Spirit Fit. He's a wellness professional, sobriety advocate, and just really grateful to be able to have him here today, share his knowledge. And so it allows me to kind of sit back and listen as well. So thank you, Scott. But, just really grateful for having him here. And I'm going to let him speak here in a minute. And he's
Scott, just because I'm knowledgeable. Today I'm just here talking a little bit about wellness and with respect to gambling. So that based a little bit on what I've done. So just to give a little bit of a backstory, uh, I've done a lot of work within health and wellness, but also a part of that whole health and wellness was sobriety and addiction that I've battled. And with any addiction, you can say, it's the disease of not enough, or, you'll never have enough of it. But I turned a lot of that addiction, recovery, weight issues, all of those things, I learned in unconventional ways. So self motivation, self awareness, guided meditation, various different wellness modalities. I guess I'd say. So a quick way to say what I do is I run and facilitate fitness, reflexology, some guided meditation, overall wellness things. And today I'm here to talk about gambling, and not so much as because I said I don't talk usually like an AA coach, an NAGA, any of that type of stuff. I usually try and do positive reinforcements and try and set up game plans that we can do on day-to-day life to make our life a little bit better instead of focusing, always on the negative. Because I find this is my own personal, and some people found this as well, is if you look at the positives of life and instead of seeing what you're leaving behind and you look ahead and what you're trying to accomplish, I find that might work for different personality types. And especially with something with game type, you're looking at the fitness route. SMART principles: specific, measurable, action oriented, realistic, or time. There's different variables. Any system can work for you. If it's an AA, CA, GA, any system will work for you as long as you want it to work and you do it. We can always have the best written game plans of life, but if we don't actually do them, one with quitting drinking, recording yourself. The fourth is guided meditation, and the fifth, as anything, ongoing success. So just continuously doing what you need to do. So those are just the 5 steps listed out, and I'll start with number 1 on creating your ideal self and why we should do it. So with creating our ideal self, a lot of us don't usually take the time to think, what does our ideal self look like? And how would we even accomplish that? And one easy way that, works for the majority of people, and this is going to sound so simple, once again, go for a walk, find a nice forest, maybe print out a piece of paper, and I'm going to have, and potentially another one that you kind of push at the back and forgot about, but just all those things, creating your ideal self, your family life, your home life, every single part, and try and come up with a simple 1 sentence, what does my ideal life look like? So I have a couple of sheets that I'm going to look at right now, and actually I'll save that for the next part. The next one is acknowledging our past. So a lot of us will have different addictions, and it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to specifically do with gambling. I'm not specifically only talking about gambling. This is just overall wellness and kind of focusing on gambling. Acknowledging our past. Have we done something in the past that's hurt us? So, for example, were we gambling a lot? I'll just find this sheet real quick so I can find how this. So if we're gambling a lot, if we're drinking a lot, if we're eating a lot, if we're smoking, vaping a lot, if we're doing things that is not so great for our life, all we have to do is acknowledge it. So for example, I gambled a lot, I lost a lot of money, and it's letting that soak in and saying those things. Maybe I lost $10,000, $5,000, $1,000, whatever the amount is, but letting that hurt a little bit. A lot of us, we overthink our pain. We let it play out. Don't let it control your life, but do acknowledge that if you had issues gambling, remember that the pain that it has caused, and you don't want to step forward and continue that bad momentum. So that's acknowledging our past. And like I said, I'm going to go in a little bit more near the end of this video. I'm going to post links down below or to the sides where you guys can create your own sheets. The next one is recording ourselves. Now, how many people here have recorded themselves and watched themselves? A better question is, how many of us has sat and watched somebody else talk and said, well, I think they're wrong, or I can do better than that person? It's very easy to judge other people when we're doing stuff, but how many times have we picked up our phones, recorded ourselves talking, and watched that? How many of us have walked into the forest? And I always say walk into the forest because that's what other people do. That's maybe where we learn about ourselves more than anywhere else. But maybe I challenge you to walk in the forest, and whether it's gambling, whether it's drinking, eating, any issues you have, just maybe flat out being open and honest with yourself. Take your phone out. I'm sure we all have a phone that we have right now. Record ourselves and just talk about an issue. Pick your favorite treat. If you live in a city, I'm sure there's a park nearby that you can find a nice tree out. And just recording yourself, whether it comes to gambling, recognition, whether it comes to acknowledging something that we're weak at, record ourselves, just talk our true feelings. You might never know how much you have to say about yourself until you just start rambling on. The fourth thing is guided meditation. That's something that takes a little bit of time. I'm going to share my personal guided meditation with you guys. The gambling specific one, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll give you guys the gist of the information. And at the end of this video, I'll make sure that there is a link below to a Google Drive PDF, which has all of these sheets, all of these filters that you can use on your own. But just creating guided meditation, and it doesn't have to be necessarily guided meditation, but maybe some mindfulness. We all sit, well, I hope we all brush our teeth, but one thing that was taught to me is brush your teeth and tell yourself, I am good at school. I am good in school. And that was something that was taught to me as a child, but to this day, I'll still brush my teeth and re-acknowledge. I've quit a lot of addictions. I've quit smoking. I quit drinking. I quit drugs. I quit gambling. A lot of these things I play in my head, and, give yourself the pat on the back for doing that kind of stuff. And the last of the 5 steps is ongoing success. So once you quit something, gambling or anything else, you need something to keep you on success. And I find that in life, if we keep moving towards something, that gives us purpose. If it's really easy to gamble our lives away, drink our lives away, eat our lives away, be lazy and do nothing our lives away, if we don't have something that we're looking forward to. So finding some type of true purpose in life, that can help us with our ongoing success, not just with gambling, but just in our day-to-day life. So I'll read those 5 again, but they will be listed in a PDF in the Google Docs. Create your ideal life. Acknowledge your past. Record yourself. Start some form of guided meditation. And ongoing success. So now I'm going to share a little bit about creating your ideal self and kind of what mine look like. And for myself, I have put this into a guided meditation. So I will just kind of read off most of the parts of the guided meditation for you guys. And I'll also post links as well of how to create your own, as opposed to just making something up. We have so many technologies that we can use, and some people may or may not be opposed to AI, but in the most recent months, I kind of got familiar with it. So if you write in, acknowledging your past, some things that are important to you, you can just pop in OpenAI, and it will literally pop you out of a guided meditation. You can always fix it yourself. So with that being said, I'm just going to pop up my personal guided meditation that was in relation to gambling. For myself, I've got tons of different guided meditations because that was just one true thing that I've used on my own success and wellness journey. So usually so I'm not going to go through exact details of the through the main points. So usually in any guided meditation, you want to start off with a deep relaxation and take a deep breath in, inhale, exhale, take a few deep breaths. You always want to set the tone, something relaxing, something that kind of clicks with you. Then you want to enter a state of focus. So this is going to take 10 big deep breaths. Inhaling positive energy. Exhaling anything negative like thoughts. So bring it down, just something to really calm yourself down a little bit. You can always talk about your ideal self. So I'll go over what my ideal self is. So this one I called, this part of this guided meditation is, maybe I'll just go with the acknowledging my past and my ideal self. So this is pretty much the bread and butter of this. I acknowledge my past, alcohol, drugs, vaping, and gambling, but I no longer let those things define me. I am an intense person, and I now channel my intensity into my workouts, success, and creating my ideal life. I use my intensity and obsessive nature to fuel my workouts, my business, and my personal growth. I am building a powerful, positive life with a family legacy. I am the new leader of a generation in my family, one that carries generational wealth, strong values, and unshakable morals. My past struggles now serve as a foundation for my success. I am a financially successful entrepreneur and a great father. I provide my family, offering them home, security, and most of all, my time with them. I have regained everything I lost and built a legacy around my business. I am strong, healthy, free of body dysmorphia issues, and free from any harmful substances. My past has fueled my success because I am an all or nothing, and now I choose all for the positive life. And this one goes with the ideal self. I wake up every morning with purpose, knowing I provide for my family while running a thriving business. In the future, I'll teach other communities how to build wellness programs, leaving a long-lasting impact with my Spirit Fit Education Wellness Program. Every day, I make sure my family and I have a great life together, breaking the cycle of addiction and struggle. I wake up energized and ready for my new adventures with my loved ones. So that is fairly word for word of what acknowledging my past and ideal self is in a positive light. And with all of the positive light, there's some negative light. The negative light I'll share with you guys as well. And most of this will be a little bit more obvious once you look at these simple sheets that I created. It's in the past and does not serve me. I have chosen a new path, one of fulfillment, peace, and success. I remember the pain gambling caused, the times I won, the times I lost, the money I sacrificed. Some of the last times I was gambling, I still remember the $15,000 I could have used for my family, or the 0.25 Bitcoin I let slip away in a single night. I recall those horrible feelings of leaving a casino or secretly gambling online, avoiding my own children and my family. Work for me to earn. I remember the feeling of being numb. I acknowledge the lessons in those experiences, and I use them as fuel for success, not a loss. I now feel the freedom of choice. I am in control of my life, my finances, and decisions. I make smart, responsible choices that benefit me and my loved ones. I breathe in confidence and clarity, breathe out any lingering attachment to gambling. Gambling is behind me as it serves no purpose in life. And then you can do kind of a breathing technique. I'm in control of my finances. Just there's different ways that you can swing that. But that's, for myself, that's how I release gambling. Saying the things that kind of make it hurt a little bit, which you kind of need to go into detail when you're making things hurt. So with that being said, creating your own ideal self. Maybe even right now, if we all have a phone on us, grab your phone and just maybe give you time to actually grab your phone and just write down on a couple sentences and words, what does your ideal and I guess just on the issue of time, maybe we won't do that, but just maybe write a note, write down my ideal life, and just make something up that's very specific. It could be the car you drive, what your house looks like, if it's clean, what your ideal self is. The next one is acknowledging your past. And just for the sake of doing this, maybe just write down on your notepad, since I'm sure we all have our notepad up. Write down a few things that you would like to quit, or maybe you've quit in the past. Just some examples like I said, I'm giving you guys my examples: drinking, gambling, vaping, and bad life choices. And maybe just later on, just write yourself a sentence on what that means to you. So if it's gambling, write down in detail, how has gambling hurt you? And if you really wanted to go in depth, what has it done for you positively? You may have had those good wins, but did you put it right back into the casino? Next one is recording yourself. And I'm going to post a link as well in the Google Drive. And it's proof that everything I'm saying here, I've done. Because I have videos from 8 years ago when I was close to 300 pounds. I have videos of myself saying I need to quit drinking and my struggles. And I literally recorded that. The struggles of quitting drinking, changing my life, losing everything. But literally just watching yourself on a phone, even if you do it, I challenge you just to write in your notepad once. Grab your phone and talk to yourself in the forest or at home in your basement for 10 minutes. And just see what you feel when you watch that phone. We all have a phone, we all have the capabilities to watch yourself for a few minutes. And you might be surprised on when we see ourselves say something, it might hit us differently. The next thing is building a guided meditation. If you put all of those, acknowledging your past, creating your ideal self, maybe into AI, maybe you could just slowly make one up. There's no right or wrong way to do guided meditation. And I'm sharing that with you because I built that into my business. Whether you can call it hypnosis, you can call it guided meditation, you can call it whatever it is that you want to call it. But at the end of the day, if you tell yourself something over and over again, it will become reality. And that works also in a negative way as well. if you sat in the mirror every day and said, I'm addicted to gambling, this will never stop, I can't stop, that will become reality. But if you sit in the mirror every single day and say, I am in control of my finances, I am going to write meditation and just if things will drive the sadness. You can look at things in a positive light. And I can give you an example, and I'm not going to go too gambling specific. When I first quit drinking and drugs, I personally went to AA. It was not for me because I didn't want to keep reliving it. So my mindset was I am going to focus on bettering my life, and that is my recovery. So it doesn't always have to be a bad feeling. You can just get excited about creating a new life. Second one I wanted to share with you guys is you can only gamble yourself out of a situation. That is absolutely not true. I did that many times. Whether the dollar amount was, oh, I'm gonna get that back, I just have to bet more, and I'll get that, say, $1,000 back. There is a time, and I can promise and guarantee it, if it hasn't happened yet, it will happen where you do not dig yourself out of that hole, and you find yourself in a hole that you can't undig. So that is just something. It's an unfortunate reality, and hopefully nobody here has to learn that the hard way. The reality is, I learned that the hard way. Had to regain a lot, but there is an extent to how much more you keep putting back in the slot machine. That's for sure. Another phrase and quote that I love, and I use this word loosely, addicts or people of the extremes, people who can't seem to get enough. I personally believe we have something special within us that other people don't have, and that's the ability to be obsessive about something. And when we want something to get done, I feel like we can do it better than anybody else. Whether we are obsessive about gambling, if we're obsessive with gambling, we might be obsessed about success, and that is something positive to pat ourselves on the back with. I'll go through, I know time allows for a couple more. The road to heaven feels like HE double hockey stick. The road to heaven feels like HE double hockey stick. The road to HE double hockey stick feels like heaven. And I recently saw this, and I thought, well, how true is that? Whether we're walking into a casino or we're going to a bar or revisiting something that we're familiar with that gives us those cheap dopamine hits. That feels great. And acknowledging the fact that, yeah, I love that feeling. That is when your life is going, when the time happens where we're finding, oh, I'm trying something new. This is uncomfortable. This is really hard. I don't feel great doing this. That's generally speaking when we're finding ourselves going to our ideal life in situation. Feeling uncomfortable will always make us feel, not great at the start, but you'll look back after you accomplish what you're going to accomplish, and that is what true success is going through those hard times. You're always, in my opinion, you're always going to be going down when you're having those cheap dopamine hits, whether that's a slot machine bonus round, it's a cigarette, that's alcohol, that's drugs, that's staring at phones and watching TikTok like crazy. You know what I mean? Anything that hits that dopamine receptor, and we do it over and over and over again, that is where we're going to lose that ideal self. And maybe I'll say two more if that's okay. So, you'll always feel great after going for a walk. You probably won't feel great going to the casino. And I say this, so myself, I live primarily in Innisfil, and I live close to a place called Georgian Downs Casino. Across the street from Georgian Downs Casino is a nice walking trail. So I remember going to the casino one night and going to the casino, winning big. And I have a nice little picture I'll share with you guys. This is a nice fake smile. I don't know if you guys can see this. Nope. So that was one time that I won a fairly big jackpot. That was a fake, sad, in my opinion, smile. And I threw all of that money back into the casino soon after. And I went across the street a little bit time later, and I went for a walk with my wife, my son, and my dog. And that feeling of walking with my son, my wife, my dog gave such a warm feeling of happiness that I could not get from winning. Whatever the number is, say 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, number does not matter. The feeling was so much more special going for that walk across the street than any numb, sad feeling I could have in a casino without any real true love and enjoyment. So going for that walk, stepping outside, walking, you're going to feel so much more enjoyment just self-exploring your own self, your own mind, writing the things down to improve your life. It sounds a little daunting at first, going to the forest, writing down your ideal life, but I promise you, if you just do that, and it takes 1 or 2 hours just to walk in the forest, try and discover ourselves a little bit, and write that stuff down, that will bring long-lasting effects on our true happiness. And at the end of the day, we can walk away from those cheap dopamine hits and live our best life. And these are just 5 of the things that you can do to better your life. There's no right or wrong way, like I said. It can be smart principles. It can be thin principles. Find something that works best for you in your healing journey, and the best way to do that is self-discovery. Learn how to heal yourself. Learn yourself. And at the end of the day, that is what we do to be our best selves. And that's pretty much all I have to say about, just generally gambling and living a better life. So cheating, which I really, really appreciate you guys sticking in there and listening to me talk about gambling and just living a better life. So cheating, which, and if you have any questions, feel free to shoot them over.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, wait, I'm gonna see if I can hear me. Okay. I know I have all this tech, different, but thank you, Scott, though. I know it's gonna probably shoot. I don't know if it's shooting at my beating, but no, those are really great resources that you shared, and we did post it in the chat there, the Google Doc link for everyone. But no, it's very, I'm gonna have to try that too. I know I've done recordings of myself too, and even if I listen back on this too, I know it's not easy to record yourself and listen to yourself, but I think that's like a really good strategy or skill that you're shared with us. It's like recording yourself and sharing and talking about the things that maybe um that you're struggling with, or talking about those hardships that you're going through, but then also bringing in that positive self-talk, right? um no, I really, I think that's something that um I'm gonna have to try, even though it's hard to do, and I know a lot of people struggle to hear themselves, but it's something that's like, yeah. And I do, enjoy what you shared too. Like, something simple as going for a walk outside. That's gonna bring so much of that peace, being connected with your family. Um, just taking a walk is something that I know we can do, or any type of activity that's gonna resonate with people. Um, no, just encouraging those to do that, take that walk, or go connect with family that you may, or friends. Just being outside, even just sitting out there. Like I said, it's like the first day of spring today, even though it's still a little cold, and I know we have snow on the ground here still, but the sugar bush is going to be running here. It's the maple sap in the bush, so that's like a perfect time to go for a walk and go explore. But I really appreciate what you shared today, and I know I'm trying to read some of the comments, and yes, I know we kind of put it in the chat there. This conversation and this event is going to be saved in our streaming
Okay.
in our tabs, and so you will be able to watch this later. You will be able to share, or you can let people know that you may feel can benefit from this information, that they can watch this afterwards. And yeah, I don't know if there's any questions too. Just feel free to pop them in the chat, because I know we still have Scott, that he's on here too, and he can answer any questions. Um, yeah, and then if I'll wait and see if there's any questions that come in. I know you don't see my face, but you see the image of my beating. Um, and just keep plugging away. I don't know if there's questions too on that, but I know we do have some resources on our YouTube channel that can help you if there's any questions on the beating specifically. But no, what a like really, I really do appreciate that information though. It's being vulnerable to share your experiences and your journey so far, and the work that you do with the health and fitness and just living a good life, for not only for yourself but for your son. Yeah, I'm trying to monitor the chat here. I don't see too many. I see someone saying thank you to you. But yeah,
I'll be on the call for the rest of the thing, anyways. If anyone had any questions or anything,
that's awesome.
I don't know if the meeting's still going on at the end or whatever, but I just thought I'd say I'm still sticking around.
He's still on, and no, yeah, and kind of well, what trying to get my words out here, but what the intention of this is to bring this conversation, and I hope I hope it connects, even just to one person that's listening. Even just having and working through our beaded pin, I hope it, just one person that can take away. Maybe it's a resource, maybe it's something that Scott shared, in his journey. Whether it's the links in the chat to any of the mental health supports. And I know when we're doing this too, and I should have said this in the beginning, but I know this topic of even gambling it's a topic that's it's a very like hard topic to like when I tell people where I work or like what I do for work, I mean, in my role, um, people are like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, like I'm a gambling, like responsible gambling coordinator, and I support and provide resources. And oh, thank you for the pin. Yes. But I know when people find like, hear that word gambling, it's like, oh no, 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 and I don't, I know that comes with a lot of shame. And like you said, it's one of those, it's one of those, no, no, not everybody that and I want to share that message too. And I share that with people that I come across with. Not everybody that engages in gambling, activities or behaviors, we may not face those issues or problems, but it's just being aware, being mindful. You can still have fun. And I think that's the message. You can still, I know I speak to lots of elders in my passings, and like, you could still play bingo, and you can still, those are great opportunities to go socialize with your friends, with family, with your community. Um, and I want that message to be known. Like, you could still have fun and do those things, and you could still participate. And that's not kind of my intention in my role is, but it's bringing that awareness, right? Like, these are the possible risks that could associate if we're not being mindful, if we're not being careful. Um, Making sure we have those limits. And Scott shared lots of nice, like really good resources and stuff that has helped him. And find what helps you is what I want to share. Find, take, if those resources, like if guided meditation supports, if that is what, really connects with you, then actively, do those meditations. If, sharing some of those, envisioning those, your future self, um, and, acknowledging those past, like he shared, working through that. Like we'll have the worksheets and we have them linked. But I want to share that again, that message that, and I share that with people when I come crossing, you know, you can still do those as a fun source of entertainment. And but just making sure we put those limits in place. We're mindful, and I want to share kind of my own like story too of not, and this is something that I'm going to be doing a lot of work into here is online. And like you said, Scott, in the beginning of your talk there, it's one of those things where gambling is very, very easy to hide and very easy to, not detect, because we can be really, I don't want to say like sneaky, but it's something that you can just kind of, you know, kind of do in private almost, and you can have access to it anywhere. We have our cell phones in our hands, and that's the biggest, and especially when COVID, um, began and we are all isolated, and um, feeling of boredom come up through a lot of people, and feeling like, lack of connection with other people. Um, then you turn into online games, and you know I I've been working in my role for about, it hasn't been 2 years yet, so I would still say I'm fairly like new, but it's been a year and a half um in this role. But if you would have asked me like a while ago, like before I've worked in this, I'd be like, oh, online games, like, like, no, that's just, you're just video games, or they're just phone app games. I don't think that's gambling. I think of, bingos and traditional casinos, and but playing, we got to be really mindful when we're playing, because these games are designed very similar, um, and have a lot of features in them that are, you know, like going to like the casino games. And again, what I was saying is, when we're starting to feel those feelings and being mindful of those feelings that come up with us, whether that's boredom, or if it's a feeling of escaping from something, life problems. that's when we got to try to be mindful of what's going on, recognizing that, um, because again, what I was going to say is sharing our phone app games. So very easy to kind of, and I see it. I picked up this game one time. I was bored, and a phone app game, and all the features in there. Once you start the app, you see all these advertisements of things that you can purchase and how all these in-app purchases that you can um, you know click into that's going to help you in that game. And you're like, so initially you can easily kind of exit out of them, but every single time you open that app up, it's going to bring up 5 different advertisements of how you can purchase this stuff to help you in the game. And I was like, and I was looking and I'm like, oh wow. And especially in this role recently, I was like looking at this game. I was like, wow, it's wild how these games can really um, put how it's designed to get people to really want to purchase something that's going to help, because you can play the game free, but if you buy something from the game, um, it's going to help you. It's going to help, and then they put events out, that partner events or in-app little events, and then you're like, oh, and I seen that with myself too. I seen this event that would come out, and you're playing with other people, and then you're having that feeling of like, oh, I want to do really good because it's not only playing for me now, I'm also helping my partner out. So being mindful of that, I kind of did that almost at like recently as like just kind of um to see how phone games really do draw you in. These loot boxes that you can purchase. Um, you don't know what like. You're not guaranteed to get that top prize or that top item, even if it's children, like the video games on Xbox or PlayStation, whether it's Fortnite. So even just watching how early, keeping I'm trying to figure out how I'm saying, but watching what the games that the kids play, or Roblox, I know is another game, but just watching those games that we play, right? Like they can be fun and it can be a way to um, socialize with our friends, but being mindful. And I know it's just very easy to click and make a payment especially on our phones, and I just thought that was really interesting. I wanted to share that because that's something too that a lot of people, like you were saying earlier, Scott, like a lot of people, it can be easy. You could be sitting somewhere privately. Um, yeah, there's
Can I
Jen.
just add one thing
Yeah,
to
yeah.
that
Add
too?
something in, Scott.
The one thing that really gets me is how easy online gambling is. And not only that, how hard, and I'm not saying just to insult OLG, but I think it's something to bring awareness to, is you can't self-exclude from all iGaming games websites.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
have personally self-excluded 4 times in my life since I was 21, and I can't self-exclude myself from all online gaming.
Mm, mm, yeah.
And that makes it really hard because it is so easy to gamble online. And for myself, like that was a big issue. Is I could do it, and as somebody who hides things, that was really bad. Like just being able to be at home and hit the slots.
Yep. No, I know. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, it is. And I wanted to kind of mention that too when you're sharing that, like it's one of those, it's just being mindful, and again, we have a lot of great resources in our chat there. Connects Ontario is a really good one too for addiction and problem gambling. Um, supports, especially it may not be for you or maybe for a loved one or just a community member that you're working with. So those are really good resources to share with them or with yourself. But yeah. And I don't know how everyone's pin's coming along. I know I'm kind of distracted too because I am talking and I know you can't see my face and you can kind of see me playing around over here. But just keep working on the outline and then you'll start to, once you do your outline, you'll start to fill in the color. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything. I'm trying to think of what else I want to share, but I wanted to. I'll reiterate that message again. Um, you can and I giggle and I'll say that one more time again. Just when I do see our community members or elders or just you know yeah people that I've come across in this line of work too, but um, you can still have fun and you could still participate in these activities and these or yeah and to socialize to have fun. I know my community too. I have my even my like grandparents and stuff, you could still do that, but just making sure where it's not affecting it becomes a problem, right, when it starts to affect one of our areas of our life, whether that's social, emotional. It doesn't have to always be financial, but that's always a big one with gambling. But when it starts to impact so, one of our areas, and if we think of our medicine wheel, one of those four quadrants in the medicine wheel, if it starts to impact one of those areas, that's where we need to kind of start putting focus. Okay, how can I, um, you know, feed this one area some good, um, how do I take care of my health and how do I take care of, um, just, and then going back to those activities and maybe it is, developing some type of resource and guide like okay my physical health is taking a decline, I'm not sleeping well at night, I'm up playing phone games. Well, maybe I put my phone away, not near my bedside. Maybe I try to disable my cards. I know nowadays you can add your cards to your phones and stuff. And okay, so how do I disable those? Taking those walks like Scott was mentioning. Getting those a different way to get those endorphins released. Usually, and you always feel better after you do something good for yourself, and you always feel better after you take that walk. I'm a big hockey player myself, and I love to go play hockey, and I still, that was a big part of my childhood. And even now, sometimes like I'm a mother to three young children, and some days I'm like, I just don't want to, I'm tired. I can just hang, like, I just want to relax tonight. I just finished putting the kids to bed. But you always feel better when you go and you do something good that's fun. And after I go for a skate or go see my friends at the rink, and I feel much better coming home, and I'm like, I'm happy I did that for myself today. So I just encourage, do what's gonna feed your soul, your spirit, in those positive ways. And it's okay. It's okay to ask for help sometimes. I'm really bad at asking for help. That's something that I want to work on this year is just asking for help, and it's okay to ask for help. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of strength and bravery. But it's okay if we recognize if we're slipping or if we're, something is just you're struggling in something, and it's okay to cry and let that out. Move those waters. And I was told that recently. It's okay to cry and then ask for help and then, make that plan to, whatever it is, right? Make that plan to just get back and start feeling better. Um, I don't see too many. I don't see any really real questions, and if there's anyone that's still online, feel free to ask. And I know again, I'm slowly making this pin. And if there's any questions, but yeah, you'll have everything in here that you need to kind of complete it. And again, if you do not have it, there is a supply list. As you could see, some of the material that I'm using, not too much stuff, but yeah. I'm just trying to see what else. I just appreciate though, if those that have joined, those that registered, those that are going to view this, at a later time. Um, I appreciate just, coming out and listening. And if you could take anything away, I hope there's just something small that you could take away today from our conversation. Um, yeah, I don't know. How are you feeling, Scott? I think if there's any last words or
I don't have any last words. Usually I think of something afterwards. That
yeah.
I
No.
guess yeah. I might actually add to that, and with what you just said, that it is okay to ask for help. Um, One thing that I might also mention is, because I said that I have the disease of too much, or call it addict, or whatever it is. Not everybody is that. So I thought I would point that out as well. Some people can gamble, and that's fine. It's just for myself, I tried so many times and it kept not working. And it took a long time to really realize that I shouldn't.
Mhm.
Period. The end. Just it's done. And that took almost, I'm gonna say, 10 years to truly figure out.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
I didn't really touch too much on you know what I mean. Not everybody is the same as me that has an obsessive nature. But yeah, like there's so many other supports and stuff as well when it comes to just cooling yourself down. That is also an option. And I kind of really, just looking back, I don't think I touched too much on that, but yeah. But
oh,
overall, just living a better life is always going to be better.
oh yes. Oh, absolutely. No, and no. Oh, yes, and I was just reading a comment too that just came through. Um, Again, these pins, I hope it does spark those conversations when you wear it, because people are like, oh, what's the blue pin, and then you could share some of that information, and or just uh, share what it means. And yeah, no, thank you for, and I wanted something like that just to be able to spark that conversation within people. Uh, just very important, right? Because one thing that we can stress too is that gambling can be overlooked, and there's a lot of stigma, right, and a lot of that shame, those feelings of those, you know. And I just want to break, with everything too, and any type of awareness, you want to try to break down that stigma and have those conversations, and it's okay to. It's good to have these conversations and talk about, and there's not, and even in this line of work too, there's it feels like there's not a lot of, like, there is resources and really good ones, and that's what I put out there. But when you're trying to look for stuff, it's really hard to find like some stuff about gambling other than like gambling sites and stuff like that, or the lottery sites and stuff like that. But so just being able to bring that out and to share that, wear that pin, bring those conversations to your community members if you're working with community. And so I think I'm good for today, and I just want to thank everybody again that joined. Thank you, Scott, as well, for joining me in this conversation. It's always lovely to have you. I know this is my first time having you, part of my program and having this conversation. I know you shared a lot, of your personal experiences, and that's kind of what helped you. Again, for the people that are watching too, it's whatever is going to connect with you, whatever is going to help and support. Just we want to, promote just healthy lifestyles, have healthy activities. And for me, in the beginning of this, I had my medicines out. I lit my smudge. I had to sing because that helps me ground me before, it's really nerve-wracking to, for anything. So I had to, do that before I can, come on and share some information. Um, but yeah, just, and again, I want to post or share, if you're, so lots of programs within Onwa. So looking at our page, there's a lot of great, frontline programs that we do that are helping support community. So please check out our website, check out our social media pages for, there's going to be some more posts too, because the month is not over. Some posts that are related to, responsible gambling and, a lot of those posts are meant for that engagement, that thinking, and just kind of, having that self-reflection when you come across those posts and think, um, yeah, so thank you everybody. And thank you, Scott, again for sharing. And, we'll be in touch, and I know, we'll see you if, down the line with another program or with my colleague too. Just get out, move your body is what I'm going to leave off with, and just do something good for yourself today. Okay, well, thank you. Miigwech, everyone. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you for having me. Have a wonderful day.